And welcome back to more of my favourite lesbian adventure, Death End Request 2, Part 18, where we're looking for Liliana, but we've got some optional scenes to see first. That's her mother? Liliana was sure relieved to see her. Right. But what she said to her? Well, no point in crying over it. Let's hurry up and find Liliana. I didn't get to squeeze these extra scenes in at the end of the last part, because the last part was already decently sized, so I just thought beef out this one a little bit more. Rotty, you seem desperate. Has the situation struck a chord with you too? You see, watching Liliana got me thinking. I don't have that kind of relationship with my mom. I could see how much Liliana loves her. I'm envious. My mom and I never had that. Right. The grass seems greener on the other side, doesn't it? But you are you. That can't be changed. Happiness starts from within. Be the change you want to see. That's some pretty good advice for how moody Mai usually is. Up on the mountain path. Oh, Mai, I'm hungry. I'm craving the dorm stew. To have a bowl of piping hot stew. You would know good timing if it slapped you. Oh, I would if you slapped me, Mai. Fucking this kinky bitch. I'm joking. Yeah. Rotty's absolutely into Mai being rough with her. It's kind of, there's a lot of little pieces hinting at it. Hey Mai, why are you always so nice to Liliana? Maybe it's because I see myself in her. Right. Be nice to her, got it? No need to tell me. And the shadow matter just won the worst place, so I had to keep the recording going because I couldn't just stop the recording, otherwise the shadow matter would catch up to me. So I had to get to a save point. Mai! Back in the very short-lived tourist area. What now? Just wanted to say your name. Quit messing around. Let's go. Okay. And along the lakeshore area. I don't really like this area. I don't either. I didn't know there was something you're afraid of. I just didn't like the plot context that's gone down in the previous chapter. That's messed up, Mai. I have things I'm scared of. Like bugs. Did you say something? Nothing. I like how you're starting to see more of their natural dynamic between the two come out more. Hey Rotty, I don't think it's this way. Rotty? What's the matter? I wasn't sleeping. I'm totally up. So you were sleeping? Were you sleepwalking? Of course not. Hey, where am I? You're sleepwalking. My thumb was resting on the pause button as that frog was walking approach. I was like, don't you dare, don't you dare. But now back on the main path, you're going north. Abigail, Liliana, where are you guys? Can anyone hear me? No sign of them here. Maybe they went in deeper. We can only hope. But it's not as simple as just keep on going north and go into it. It's the first real instance in this game of look around first. You'll notice that there's a chunk of this area of the top half that is no longer blocked off. That little upper bit there. It used to be blocked off, it no longer is. Editing out that encounter because she just ran into it, wasn't expecting it to be right there. This wall you can run straight through. You're supposed to use the computer we used last time, originally when we were trying to get the Sheena's place much earlier in the plot, to see it. Because originally it wasn't visible because the wall was in the way, like the red digital wall, but now you can see through it. Alternatively, there is a PC if you go through the main path, like you would originally, that will also reveal where the other side of it is, which I show before we leave. But going up here, just nab this box, and this is your area key to get through this in the second half of it. So you can finally open that path off in the distance that's been haunting you since the very beginning of the game, since this was like the first proper area we went to, and now you can finally see it. This is what I was on about. This PC here will allow you to see that wall, so you can go through it that way if you so desire. So time to play a game of Dukes and just go around the Shadow Matter, there we go, and just keep on going till we can open the door, and we'll get access to the next area of the game, the rural area. And my god, do I have a story of this area coming up on this recording. But one thing at a time. Welcome to the rural area. You'll notice that there's quite a thick purple fog going throughout this whole area. That's because it's the most wide open space in the game, so it's render distance hiding. They must have gone far. We're approaching the Royal Outskirts. It's out of the way. Don't expect to see many people. I see. But do you think they came here? Well, maybe not this exact location. They gotta be close. I feel it in my gut. This is stressing me out, Mai. We need to find them fast.
Seems like it can be happening.
Yeah, we do need to find them. It's not going to be in today's park, I'll tell you now. Right. So this area, it's got an intense like purple mist throughout it, and it's just hiding the render distance because this area is very wide and open. And to be honest, I get it, and I don't mind it. Like, there's some instances where the render distance is annoying, like the SpongeBob Powerful Bikini Bottom Rehydrated. Sand Mountain's fog there was the most pointless fucking thing in the world, because it didn't hide anything, and it hindered your vision as a consequence. But this one, it really doesn't bother me. It's like it's handled well enough that you can't really notice the cracks, so to speak. And we got a new bracelet as well, which is nice, but it still feels a little kind of unnecessary to a point, because you can still see things pop in anyway. It doesn't hide it, it just covers it a little bit. Additionally, this is the introduction of the second of the three main features that the PC hacking is. Around this area there is a bunch of treasure chests you cannot see or interact with until you see them on a camera. So if you see something that is straight up a treasure chest and it is glowing, it means I've had to bring it up on the camera first. And you'll see an instance of that a little later on, where there's an invisible platform that leads to nowhere, and then you're going to see me trigger a camera and there's going to be a chest on the end. But we've also got an introduction to two pieces starting this chapter. The first one are these dark red glitch spots, which are called major corruptions. Touching them guarantees a glitch mode. The very moment you touch one, you're just thrown into glitch mode because it adds 80% regardless. Making it a very powerful tool, and also something you might not always want to use. You might want to actually deliberately leave it for a more sensitive time since it's a free glitch form. Alternatively, and we don't see it in this video because it just never has a chance of popping up, if you kill all but one enemy, or at least kill the majority of the enemies in an area and one is left alive, a shadow matter will now enter the fight. Yes, those two like creepy guys that will enter the fight. And the way they work when they're in combat is instead of chasing you around, they will dominate a percentage of the arena, and there will be a red circle or square, depending on where they spawn, around them. If at the end of a full turn, any character is within that square or circle, they are instant killed. And what's worse is that for every turn afterwards that the shadow matter, that the fight goes on, because you can't harm the shadow matter, the shadow matter's field of attack and field of kill increases. Until eventually, if the fight goes on for too long, it will genuinely cover the entirety of the arena. Meaning you have to either end that fight that turn, or use something that grants invincibility, such as Mai's glitch form ultimate attack, to survive it.
What's wrong, Abi?
It genuinely can get quite intense if you allow them to. But during this part, there's never a point where only one enemy is left alive at the end of a turn, so it can come in the next turn. But it will pop up eventually. It's just this is the chapter where that mechanic comes into play, and it can be quite intimidating if you get into a fight with those IOs, which is what they're called, or EOs, those big four-legged walker things. They're the most likely enemy you'd like to bump into them too, because they're bulky as shit. Which are also a reused asset from a dragon in Dragonstar, but whatever. Also, you can't hit through fences, annoyingly. I try to, it just doesn't happen. But those guys are probably the most likely enemy you're gonna bump into them with. If you go into an encounter and there's only one enemy there, there's still a chance it will spawn in, but it's not anywhere near as likely because it's not something you could really help. As you see me try and line this thing up to make it hit more mines. But yeah, the reason why the rural area ended up being a bit of a mission for me, and why we don't get to cover too much more plot beyond this, is because there is another side quest in this area where you need to get items that are dropped by a specific enemy. I said before that in last chapter, the only real instance of having to grind is when you have to go back to the lakeshore area to grind out, or do your first visit to the lakeshore area to grind out the frog enemies there. Well, the reason why I said that is because every time I've gone through this game, the enemies that you need to grind in this area, they gave you so goddamn many of them on the main path, there was no way in hell you weren't encountering them. Until I started recording, that is. There is a bat-like enemy called a doggy, which is stupid because it's not a dog, but whatever. There is a bat enemy called a doggy. It has about a 25% chance of dropping one lone curse bone per kill. We need 8 curse bones for the side quest. And for some reason, I had the worst time. I had the recording of it. This video would have been an hour and 50 minutes long if I'd left it in. Which is why it's... And if you're thinking, my god, it cut down from an hour and 50 to 20 minutes? What the shit? Yeah, I had an hour and a half of nothing fucking happening. Anything interesting, I just cut out and separately. Also, we got Liliana's scarf over here, which keep a hold of for when we re-recruit Liliana to equip on her. I had an hour and a half of recording footage when nothing fucking happened. Because I just, every time I got into an encounter, I'd either encounter a doggy that didn't drop the cursed bone, or I'd encounter an enemy where a doggy wasn't a part of that field, because doggies don't spawn on their own, they are tied to other enemies like those frogs. And so I'd immediately just hit the options button and run away from the fight. Because I refused to overgrind. The last thing I wanted was to grind. It was to grind for the sake of doing the side quest and get over leveled. I still end up leveling up a bunch. We start this area at like level what, 48, 49, and we leave it at like level 55 or 56 at the end of this video. Because the only fights I did were killing it when we're doing the fights when doggies were spawning, but the rates of them dropping cursed bones was so against me for no good reason. I had to Google it to make sure it was actually 25%. It is a 25% drop, and I got it about 1% of the time. It felt like it so never happened. And what was more frustrating is that every time you encounter doggies, you can counter them in like groups of 3 or 4. So when you end the fight with 0, it feels like even more of a kick in the dick. It's like, you mean to tell me after 4 or 5 chances in a single fight, I didn't tick the box to 25% once? Come on. It was like, this ended up being such a hassle, and it baffled me that it took me so long. Because on my blind playthrough and my New Game Plus run, I got exactly how many I needed on the initial run without having to turn around and grind at all. I had to do no grinding whatsoever to get this quest done, because I encountered them so frequently and they all dropped cursed bones, so I had the 8 required immediately. And then of course, to start recording, you know, Way of the Works, the Let's Play curse, it just didn't happen. These fuckers didn't spawn, and when they finally did, they didn't drop the bloody bones. That was so long, and it's like I ended up getting annoyed because I ended up getting over leveled because I was only fighting doggies, and yet they weren't dropping them, so I was having to fight even more anyway to get on top of the side quest, just because, like I keep saying, you need the side quest done to get view extra scenes, and I'm making sure to show every single extra scene I can in the game to give you the full product. And so it's just like, oh, it was such a stupid mission. And you're going to see like the montage of that a little later on. But we don't leave this space. We get the key to leave this space, but we don't leave this opening area, the rural area, this part. It's that bad. I was kind of like, when I finally recorded it and got it done, I was like, I'm just going to edit this part, deal with this, and worry about the rest later. Because it was so frustrating. Like, it was funny because it's like, of course, like if you're going through it, I can guarantee you won't have this problem. you won't get as unlucky as I did, but it was just because I was recording, so of course it knew. It was like, no, we're gonna destroy Rob's day today. At least there was some good news today. If you know me personally, I'm a bit of a horror junkie. I've played a few horror games on this channel, but not in a long while, because to be honest, there hasn't been a good horror game in forever, and until there is, I'm not going to force myself to record one. I know Evil Within 2 has been on the table for since like forever, but whatever. But there is a community-made film that came out a couple years ago called Never Hike Alone. It was based on Friday the 13th, and I'm going to level with you, it's like the second best Friday the 13th film we've ever got, even though it's only 50 minutes. It was a really well crafted and well built thing that I thoroughly enjoyed. So of course, when they said that they were going to be making a 4-part series funded on the community, I joined in, I funded it. I helped fund it, and I got a bunch of goodies with it as too. It was super cool. Well, that first episode, Never Hike in the Snow, came out this morning, and it is free on YouTube. Just Google up Never Hike in the Snow. And the reason why I'm kind of saying this is because I helped fund it. My name's in the credits. My full name, Robert M. Maurice, is in the credits of that short film, and I can't describe to you how cool it is to see your name in the credits or something. Like, it's such a amazing feeling. It's so beautiful. I was just sitting there and I was just going ah when I saw it. Like, you could have heard me. As soon as the credits started coming up, I was following it alphabetically, and as soon as I saw Robert M. Maurice, I was like, oh my god. There's no better feeling than having you be like, even if it's only like recognition for like being a part of the funding, so it really is just like a special thanks. It's really not anything special. I didn't do anything. It still felt so amazing to just have that little recognition sort of thing. But anyway, back to the actual side quest. This is the start of the montage, because I show it on the missions. So many more encounters later, these are the doggies. And you see, this time it's in a group of 3. So you're like, okay, kill them, get 3 cursed bones, that'll be great. This ends up being a bit of a template of what's to come. Look at how many I get. There's 3 of them, and I'm like, okay, if I get 2 or 3, I'll be happy. I get 1. I'm like, great. Hope that's not a sign, as my level's up to 51 and gets a new star skill. I also keep in any new skill that's earned through a combination of attacks while I'm at it. This did have a doggy in the fight. I just killed them first, because this thing takes forever. And you see, I got Salvaltia Seltor, or how do you pronounce it, a new moon skill. It's like, alright, sweet. Later on, Rotty learned solar skills through leveling up. I don't care about the rest of the party. Mai learned Starbeam through leveling up, but I didn't keep that recording because I was fed up. Also, you're going to see me kind of skip through this because I wasn't expecting to learn a new skill. I just wanted to bring up Rotty and then boost defense, lower defense. But Mai then learns the best skill in the game, hands down. Every single attack, because it says physical and magic attack will be boosted by 1.5 times. Every single attack Mai can do after that will have a 1.5 times multiplier. If you're not using that, you're wasting it, because it is such a beautiful tool. Along the way, we also get Luna Gundo, and this is also another perfect example. There's 4 doggies in this arena, right? 4, you can count them, so that's 4 cursed bones on the table. That is 4 possibilities for me to get them. How many do I get? Nothing. I got fuck all. And I was like, great. And that was kind of a template for everything I had afterwards. Thankfully, I also learned a Meti Marvert along the way, which is a really great healing skill for Mai. And thankfully, the cursed bone I get from this is enough to hit me on 8 an hour and a half later. Level 54. Ugh. But I turn it in and I've wrapped it up as a part, so next time on Death in Request 2 we're continuing our search for Liliana. Now we're done with the grind. But until then, you guys take care now.